again, we should have one or possibly two products coming to market before the end of the year.
Tim, welcome. Thanks for hopping on.
No worries. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
So, Tim, to get started here, considering we haven't had you on in the past, can you just tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name's Tim Popplewell. I'm the MD of a business called Toco, which is a real-world asset tokenization platform. I've been around the block for a long time, been in this space for about 4 or 5 years now. And we're just in the process of changing some things at Toco, which I'll come on to talk about. That's really an introduction of who I am.
All right, fair enough. So I guess we might as well go right into Toco. We've covered in the past, but we might have some new viewers today. So just tell us a little bit about Toco and where you stand now.
Yeah, so Toco was originally almost a pet name for this project from within a law firm called DLA Piper, who are one of the governing council members in the Hedera ecosystem. Toco's been around in various forms for 3 or 4 years, and really started to take prominence maybe about 18 months ago when we set up in Dubai. And if you think about, from our perspective, Dubai is really where the zeitgeist is for our industry, and also has a real forward-thinking regulator in VARA. So it made sense for us to move there. We set up there, and we were very lucky to get we were in the first batch of licenses given by VARA. And to some degree, that was the fact that DLA Piper had helped VARA write the regulations. So it made sense for them to trust us more than perhaps some others. And so we were lucky to get our licenses at that point. And yeah, so since then we've been quietly building, I would say, and not making a great deal of noise about what we're doing for various reasons. Which I'll probably come on to. And now we're really ready to start operating, and I'll come on to again a little bit later on as to why now.
Sounds good. Now, I was in an interview not long ago, or interviewing somebody from Cask Capital, and it actually surprised me. I knew that they were building on Hedera, but I didn't know they had a relationship with Toco. That is with whiskey casks, a completely new type of asset class, or at least one that I hadn't thought of in the past. What are the different types of teams and the different types of real-world assets that you're into tokenizing?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, we like to think we are a mission-driven business, and insofar as we're mission-driven, that kind of focuses us on certain areas and probably moves us away from others. Because one of the things about real-world assets is, depending on who you talk to, there's trillions and trillions of assets that could be tokenized in any number of different asset classes. We want to focus on ones where we think we can make a difference, and so. To start with, not surprisingly, being coming out of a law firm, there's a few legal tech type use cases. There's one in particular that we're going to launch probably in the next couple of months, which we think is extremely exciting. And that was assisted by a grant from the Hashgraph Association. So thank you to the guys over there for helping us get that one off the ground. So there's a few around legal tech, and I'll give you one example. It's really around opening up legal representation to those who aren't able to get it at the moment, and specifically around very, very large cases against governments or extremely large organizations where the cost of litigation is so exorbitantly high that the normal person just can't possibly afford it. So there are things around there. We are looking at a couple around the general process of, I would call it, provenance and supply chain provenance, because we think there's some really great efficiencies there. We're dabbling, I would say, a little bit with real estate, and then there's financial services, which is by far the biggest, by far the most obvious. And again, we're playing with certain people in that area to bring some things to market. Again, we should have one or possibly two products coming to market before the end of the year.
All right. Well, good insights all around. Now, I understand you are calling me from a hotel room because you're attending Token 2049 in Singapore. Why did Toko decide to have a presence at that event?
Yeah, I am. I'm a little bleary-eyed, so apologies. It's 8 o'clock in the morning here, which is 4 a.m. in Dubai, and we only arrived last night, so it's all a little bit. I'm on about my third cup of coffee this morning to get me going. Yeah, I mean it's one of the major Web3 events in the world. Everybody's here. There's a lot of the people who we're working with, a lot of our clients are here. So it makes sense from a point of view of just going around saying hi to everybody at the same time. But we're also announcing a couple of things here as well. And that's the real reason we're here. So we're announcing a complete rebrand because what we've realized is that Toco, as I said earlier, it's a bit of a pet name. It doesn't actually really mean anything, and it doesn't really reflect what we do as a business. So we're changing our name, and that will be announced tomorrow, which is quite exciting. And we're going to—I'll tell you what it is. We're going to be called Scintilla going forward. We put a couple of teasers out a couple of weeks ago, just start to get a bit of a buzz in the industry because we've been very, very quiet. Scintilla obviously is perhaps it's not obvious, but it's a Latin word, and it means a small spark, and that's really where we are. We're looking to play. We're looking to create those sparks and actually get things moving. It's the first conference we've been to for a long time, and with any real presence. And that's because we've been building. We didn't really see the need to spend time necessarily just talking about things. We were in the background actually building things. So it's been a bit of a journey, but this one, Hedera's got a great big presence here, as of many others. So we'll be on the Hedera stand tomorrow and the day after, which is quite exciting. Just announcing our name and announcing a little bit more about what we're doing and what we've been up to. The second piece of news is also in the very, very near future. And this kind of makes sense. DLA Piper is a great place to incubate a business like ours. Supremely wonderful company, supremely talented legal firm, highly trusted and respected and with good reason. And whilst you're incubating these types of projects, it makes sense to stay there. But once you get operational, it no longer really makes sense to DLA Piper. Because at the end of the day, they're a law firm. They're not a Web3 digital asset provider in a regulated space. So from our perspective, this is the time now, from both ours and DLA's perspective, this is the time for us to move away from one another. So there's being a management takeover, which hopefully will complete in the next few days, which obviously I am a big part of, which is very exciting. So DLA Piper will stay with us. I'm not letting them off the hook that easily, but they'll play a far smaller role. We'll still obviously have a very, very strong allegiance to them and work with them wherever we can. But it will very much be Scintilla on its own from now on as a regulated asset provider.
Well, I think what you're saying is really refreshing for the Hedera community to hear and reinforcing, because we've been talking about how a lot of times enterprises don't really talk about what they're working on until there's something to announce, where a startup may talk a lot more about it because they need to get that excitement for potential VC investment and things along those lines. So it's good to hear that that's exactly what you did. You waited, you built what needed to be built, and now that there's something to actually announce, now you're moving forward with that. So that's very good to hear. The last thing that I just want to ask, we just want to look into the future a little bit. What does the future hold for DLA Piper, Toco, and these relationships with Hedera?
DLA Piper's probably not my area of expertise, to be perfectly honest. I'm not a lawyer, so.
And I should have said Toko, right? I should have said the new name.
Yeah. So DLA Piper is they're a massive global law firm. They're extremely successful, and I'm perfectly sure they'll continue to be. They are developing a really fantastic innovation hub, and I'm not just saying this to say it, but there are some extremely talented people in that space within DLA Piper, and there are some other really interesting ideas coming out of there in the kind of technology and innovation space. They're obviously a founding member of the Hedera Governing Council, obviously very close to it. And so my sense is that will continue. I don't see any particular change there. In terms of Scintilla, we're well funded, so we're not necessarily looking for finance at this point in time. We will obviously continue to work with Hedera. There's a couple of things we may even be talking to them about whilst we're here in Singapore, and we'll continue to work with them. So there's no real change there. And then in terms of Scintilla on its own, we're constantly looking for people with really exciting use cases where we think our expertise and their use case can gel together and create something really wonderful. And I'm excited because I can see them all the time. It's I don't know how many use cases come across my desk each month, but it's a significant number. And again, that's one of the reasons to being here is there are so many incredible people in our space and doing some incredible things. I'd like to think, because I'm not a dyed-in-the-wool Web3 person, that I have a decent skill in terms of determining what will work and what won't in reality, and that's hopefully where we're going to play going forward. Is picking some interesting projects and turning them into something really fantastic.
Well, Tim, again, I have to thank you for giving us some time today. Rob, over and over again, has said what a great asset you are to the Hedera ecosystem, and he's a pretty good judge of character. So thanks for coming on today and telling us about Scintilla.
No worries. Anytime.
I'm now posting these interviews of Hedera builders independently to my channel. The community, influencers, and media outlets are free to use this content to spread the word on what's being built on Hedera. Once they're all uploaded, you'll be able to go to my channel and search for whatever topic or team you're interested in to find more information. Or you'll be able to get the most recent Hedera news by watching the latest HBAR Weekly update. So check them out.